Kenny Booker never got it going tonight. How much was that a point of emphasis to keep him contained?
Yeah, I think, we knew they're on a tough trip, right, and tough travel, and our kind of message to the guys is like we really got to up our physicality, really make these guys work. Obviously, KD, Booker, and Beal, and I thought our physicality, maybe the best of the year in terms of getting into guys and great activity. We turned them over, and our depth shone through again. We had great contributions from Jalen and TT. How about TT? Like amazing. Screen setting, rebounding. Guy hasn't played forever and comes in and plays like that. Really testament to our depth.
Coaches obviously understanding that TT has not played that much, for him to be a vocal portion on the bench, but for him to come in and do that for 25 minutes, what does that mean to have that depth?
I think he played 18 minutes straight, which is, it's tough for anybody to do in this league. And, part of the thinking was, if we could save JA's minutes, that would be really helpful. And then I asked him, "You want to come out?" And he's like, "No, I'll stay in." And he loves to hoop. TT, like whether we play 3-on-3, one-on-one against the coaches, he just loves the game and his joy, his I would say his counsel, in terms of how he coaches our young guys and the whole team and the coaches too, right? He's right next to us. He suggests stuff, and we just love everything he brings to the table.
You guys shot nearly 20 more shots than they did tonight, a testament to the turnovers that you guys committed, but also beating them on offensive glass 15-1. Can you speak to how that played a factor for you guys tonight?
We've been preaching the possession game lately. I think that's another thing that's going to be a huge playoff factor if we can, with our ability to shoot the ball, if we can get more shots than the other team, that's huge. But it seems like when we play these elite teams, you lose if they get 7 more shots than you're in trouble, or 9 more shots. So really kind of shifted our mentality with that. We need to keep winning the possession game. We're going to keep preaching it. But tonight I think we were plus 24. And turnovers and rebounding, like you said.
Given the inconsistencies on the defensive end of the floor throughout this month, how important was it for you guys to have a game where you held a top 10 offense in the NBA to less than 100 points, under 25 points in 3 of the 4 quarters?
Yeah, important. And I like how we did it. I liked our physicality. I like, kind of message was like when we have great games, we dictate with our defense. And we weren't on our heels tonight. We were forward. We were dictated. We're physical and obviously rebounded the ball. So one of our better defensive games in the last month, obviously.
Jalen got some minutes in that first half. It felt like he brought a lot of energy. Like he did a lot of little things right for you guys that maybe don't show up in the box score. What did you like about what you saw from
That's
him?
it, Dan. That's exactly it. That's who he is. That's who we've seen since the first day of training camp. Sometimes we judge him in those garbage minutes where he's maybe playing with, 4 other young guys. He's right now the ultimate role player. When he's around good players, he does all, like you said, he does all the little things. He rebounds. He can hit open catch and shoot 3. But we needed his energy tonight with 3 rotation players out. So he was. I thought he played great. Both halves, but you're right, the first half when it really mattered, he gave us some great minutes. We extended the lead with him in there.
Daryl.
The second quarter, you're able to take control of the game, but you've previously been a little concerned about the third quarter, just the way you came out of the locker room today and kept the foot on the gas.
We knew, we just felt like they were going to come out firing, right? I mean, they got KD and Book and those elite players, and we felt like they had one more run in them, as in our message, we can sustain that run. In the beginning of the third quarter, we could take off, and that's what we do. Our guys came out super aggressive on both ends. I think we got off to a 6-2 start, Bud had to call a timeout. I knew we were ready to play that third quarter. That was huge.
And then you've had quite a few games this year where you've been able to separate from opponents, and you've been real conscientious about trying to manage guys' minutes so that late in the season everybody is fresh. Just how much is that helped you in that regard, and then also too being able to go and give guys that normally don't get floor time.
And I felt tonight we were fresh. Like I said it pregame. If there's one worry about this game, it's how we can respond physically. We're in a tough stretch right now in terms of games, but that's part of the philosophy. Can we? And I knew right away when we had 3 guys out. I said, we're going to play Jalen, we're going to play Tristan. And you weigh it, right? Oh man, let's stick with our 8, and even when we go on those runs, I kind of fight with the players sometimes. Like the theory in the NBA is like you're going to run, you stick with your guys, and I try to check myself. We're subbing anyway. We want to keep these guys fresh. It's not just about this game; it's the next 3 games, 4 games, 5 games. So, we try to stick with that philosophy.
Mike.
Wanted to follow up on something with Jalen Tyson. He's played well lately, and you're already playing 10, 11 guys some nights. But is there a world where Jalen Tyson could play his way into some actual rotation minutes when guys aren't out?
I think I said that early, right? Like, don't be surprised if this guy ends up in the rotation. Like, sometimes at some point during the season, I think now we got guys out. Very easily could be in the rotation, and depending who's available, but he's gaining more trust, and like I said, he looks better when we got a few veterans, right? We had Sam, we had Tristan, screen him for him. Like, we got to put him in the best position to succeed. But if we get our lineups right, he's kind of fits that perfect role player character that can help us.
Joe G.
Coach, offensive rebounding has been kind of a concern all year, and tonight 15-1.
I don't know where we are in the last month. I do think we've shot up the charts. I think we're 13th a couple of days, so I don't know if we're in the top 10. But we've hammered it all year, and sometimes it takes a while before guys buy into it. I even felt like Minnesota. It really helped us win that game. Our offensive rebound. Dean had that tip dunk. Which got us going, and then we had a lot of offensive rebounds to kickouts, and what we're also emphasizing after those offensive rebounds is the kick-out threes, or swing 3. So another area where I feel like we're getting better, and we're going to keep emphasizing it.
How much did you like? How efficient was your backcourt? 2 total turnovers for the night.
Those guys, the scoring, is there obviously, but nights like tonight where they don't turn it over, it's part of the possession game that we've been talking about. Turning teams over, then taking care of it. I think we're top 5 in lowest turnovers. Next step for us is in the big games against the Oklahoma Cities and the Bostons. We got to be able to do it there too, and to do it in the playoffs, but that's huge. Great, glad you brought it up.
Last 2, Evan, then Jets.
Kenny, you had mentioned your guys' defense dictating Phoenix's flow tonight. It felt like a lot of the time the Suns did have to settle for inefficient mid-range shots. So that just kind of what you're hoping for in terms of what your defensive approach was?
Yeah, and we knew they were great mid-range shooting team, and it's not a lot of teams. You say, hey, if they shoot mid-range, so our emphasis was. Sure, get them to the mid-range, but keep contest. Like, we need elite contests. You usually say that about three-point shooting, but this team was different. And that, I think that caused a few fouls. We're contesting so hard. We fouled them a few times, which you don't want, but we really emphasize our, they're going to shoot a ton of mid-range, keep contests at a high level, and we'll kind of live with that approach.
Most nights really, you guys are kind of clinical on how you're beating opponents. You're more than 50% of the way through the regular season. Where would you say your team is at right now?
The record speaks for itself. So very glad. But like I said pregame, we know we got a super tough schedule in the second half of the season. But I like where we are. A night like tonight kind of proves that, man, we can go 11 deep, 12 deep. We got three rotation guys out. Normally in the NBA, you're like, man, this is this is gonna be a real tough one. I did feel like that before, but this kind of reassures me that we can go deep. We can deal with injuries. We got not only 3 rotation guys, but 3 major players on our team, and to have our guys step up with that, with an elite performance, is makes me feel real good about where we are.
Jackson.
Darius was really good again tonight. How does his consistency help you when you have to go this deep into your rotation?
Man, he's got the thing on a string. I thought his pull-up threes in the first half we weren't flowing a little bit, and then all of a sudden he gets a switch, bang, pull-up three. Then I think got 2 in a row that when we were struggling. So and it's like you said, it's consistent. Like I don't see him having those 1 for when you shoot that many threes and you're shooting off the dribble, you have 1 for 9s. You're expecting. I feel like he doesn't have, like you said, he doesn't have those nights. He's just consistent, and it's a real credit to his approach. We've talked about it, how he's taking care of his body, how he's preparing game to game. But it's impressive, especially with the pressure teams put on him.
You started the game with Dean on Kevin Durant. What does it say about Dean that you're comfortable with him in that matchup?
Man, it's we can just throw him on any. Anthony Edwards one night, Kevin Durant the next night. We got a guy. Isaac is in that bucket too. But when you have a guy, that can do that, or multiple guys. I've been on a lot of teams where you're like, oh man, we kind of need a subpar defender to guard KD, and that's huge. That we can solve those matchups, and we got Karras too, right? And he's healthy. We can put him on Anthony Edwards. So we got 3, 4 wing players that we can put on elite perimeter players. Makes my job so easy.
Okay.
All right,
Coach. Thanks everybody.
Thanks,